hard to have that ice, but I'm just still trying to have that price. Get a yo cooking about to add that spice. Nowadays, dudes never had that fight. When it push bill, better burst your pipes.
The College Baseball Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app today in Google Play or Apple Podcast stores. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience, and we're throwing it back to 2022 when I first started with SGPN and the College Baseball Experience podcast. It was just a podcast at the time. We weren't on YouTube until 2023 with this specific show. But your boy is recording at 2 a.m. in the morning on what is Thursday morning because let me just say your boy is in the doghouse probably because college baseball this weekend being the final regular season weekend of the year. Conference tournaments begin. Most of them begin next Tuesday. So the weekend was moved up a day from Friday to Thursday. And that throws kind of everything out of whack because the College Baseball Experience typically records on Thursday night, not morning at 2 a.m. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek, aka 77. That was the number that I wore back in college. I was born on July 7th, so 7th month, 7th day. That's where that originates from if you're just tuning in for the first time nowadays. But this is a college baseball gambling pick show and just analysis. And back in the day, it was just me talking to the void, and then it was uploaded to the podcast that gets 1,500 downloads. But nowadays, we do pretty well on YouTube and the podcast. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in, whether it be live like Tannic Caesar. He's saying, "How can I watch this and the Hawaii game at the same time?" In Jackson, Jay North, met him in Vegas. Big Northern Kentucky fan tuning in, and it's all Gucci turning in too, saying let's get some winners for tomorrow. Blue Green Street checking in as well, saying let's cook. But yeah, your boy is in the doghouse for sure when it comes to SGPN. We had to move the show up because Thursday games are the new Friday for this week, and that's when all the best pitchers are pitching. That's typically when you're going to get the best read on a specific game. So I tried to coordinate it the best I could. I texted everybody on Tuesday night in the College Experience group chats. I was like, hey, baseball's got to slide up a day to Wednesday. Everybody knows how Colby is with his phone and everything. He's old school. He's not checking text messages a ton. And I mean, he's got like 50 unread stuff. So he's not going to Noah Bieniek first. He'll go to like family or whatever. So he didn't even see the message. Max saw it and he said, well, I've got basketball and football planned for the College Experience YouTube channel. We can't stream at the same time at all throughout the day. So it has to be one show, then the next show, then the next show. It can't overlap due to the streaming services that we use and on YouTube. So I was like, I'll take 10. I'll try to, be ready by 10. Um, JP, who's my normal co-host, also unfortunately, uh, God bless him because he's now missed a couple of shows in a row because of me and my vacation on the cruise. He missed, or he could have done those two shows, but yeah, your boy was enjoying the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, and uh, Turks and or yeah, Turks and Caicos. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So Wednesday nights, typically, we record the 11.7 podcast. That way it has all of Thursday to be able to breathe. We would love to do that for the college baseball experience, but we don't get odds and betting lines out in a timely manner to be able to create content, really. We're lucky if we even get overnight lines, right? So lines come out at like 6 p.m. tonight, and it's like, okay, shit. So we're not going to be able to do the early show like at 8. Mac, go ahead, do basketball. Take care of basketball. Do it at 8. I'll hop on 11.7. JP actually had an interview on another show around the same time of 8 o'clock. So we're like, perfect. Baseball can have 10, football can have midnight like usual. Colby changes his mind, wants to do the baseball show. I'm late to the baseball show because I'm still recording 11.7. And Colby has sports gambling podcast on Wednesday night. So they're talking UFL picks and everything. So I screwed Mac out of doing the basketball show on the YouTube channel. I screwed him out of doing the football show with Colby on the YouTube channel. I screwed JP out of being able to do the show at a timely manner. And the only one awake at 2 a.m., which is when I felt comfortable enough to to press live, was myself. And yeah, we're throwing it back to the olden days where I'm just spitting into the void. We do have a good show. Like I said, it's the final regular season week of the year. I have 13 games in series that I've picked out that I'm going to talk about on the show, give out some betting angles, my favorite picks of the day. And we're going to get through this relatively quickly because I also took a VSiN hit tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, and it is 2:05 a.m. East. So I got to get out of here in a relatively quick fashion. That way I can get some Z's and be relatively cohesive on national television, or not national television, but regional television tomorrow on VSiN with Jensen Lewis and the boys. So without further ado, let's jump into this. The mid-major rundown pods tuning in saying W, one of the best shows around. Felt you on talking to the feel you on talking to the void, brother. LMAO. Yeah, just keep doing it, dude. Like the mid-major rundown pod, I assume you're doing you're on your own venture and creating some content and whatnot, and the sport of college baseball is growing. All I can say is just keep chipping away. I mean, with this college baseball experience YouTube channel and podcast platforms, like we're still not even there. I would say like our our football and basketball shows do really, really good compared to some of the baseball numbers that we get. But yeah, around this time of year, I would say do as many shows as you can. And yeah, my voice is going to go because I did a 2-hour 11.7 podcast earlier. So this is going to be this is going to be a roller coaster. All right. So game one that I'm going to talk about here that we do have betting odds for, and I think is very interesting. It comes in the Big East, and the Big East is not having its best year in college baseball, but there are they have basically decided the 4 teams that will be playing in the Big East conference tournament next week. However, there is a 3-way tie for first place. Not that it really matters. It's a double elimination bracket. Basically, it's going to work the exact same way of a regional in the NCAA baseball tournament. But who's going to be the 1 seed? Who's going to be the 3 seed? Playing the 2 seed? Who's going to be the 1 seed playing the 4 seed? Well, let's find out this weekend. And two of those teams that are tied for first place in the Big East right now are Creighton, and they're minus 130 as they hit the road to play Xavier plus 100. I don't have slides made today, and I don't even have kind of the stats pulled up on a sheet for me to read off of so smoothly. So I will be pulling up the pitcher stats live as we go throughout this podcast, but it shouldn't be too much of a delay as I, kind of filibuster and fill the time. But Jack Pino for Creighton will be on the mound, and Ryan Peach for Xavier, I expect to be pitching in this game. Neither team has officially announced or projected their own starter in this one. So we're going with their typical Friday guys. Peach missed a start 2 weeks ago, but he started Fridays all throughout the year. I expect him to start this Thursday, game 1 of the series. He's 7-3 on the year for Xavier with a 3.53 ERA. He has 82 strikeouts, 26 walks, and 63.2 innings with a 212 batting average against. And Pino has been very good, not as good as Peach. But Pino is 7-2 for Creighton this year with a 4.22 ERA, 74 strikeouts, 20 walks, and 70.1 innings with a 2.36 batting average against. In the Big East, specifically, I guess, outside of the conference, Xavier has played one of the toughest schedules in all of the country. So a lot of their stats, are baked in like 20 super tough games that I wouldn't expect the Musketeers to win. They're hovering around 500, right there at 25-27. Their pitching staff, has a 6.67 ERA, and I attribute a little bit to that out of conference competition that they faced, but also on this game 1, they have everybody to their disposal, including Peach, their best arm. I'm assuming, again, no guarantee that he is throwing, but that's my safest projection. And yeah, Creighton's been a solid offense all year in the Big East, so it's a real clash of styles in this game, in this series. I'm not super confident because we don't know the pitchers, but I will say that I kind of like Creighton in this one to be able to get the job done, only because uncertainty of Peach, Xavier on the mound being a little shaky. Again, I like them as a team because they're battle tested, and I think that should serve them well as they have to play multiple games in a weekend next weekend in this conference tournament. But I'm gonna go Creighton with my pick here in this one. But really, storylines make this a very interesting opening game for us on the Thursday night slate. Speaking of storylines, how about the rivalry series between Miami, Florida, and Florida State? The Hurricanes are plus 145 in this matchup, specifically on Thursday night, and the Seminoles are minus 188. We do have confirmed pitchers for this matchup, and it is the left-hander Rob Evans for Miami, and it is the southpaw Wes Mendez for Florida State. In the midweek leading up to this one, there was media availability at a Miami Hurricanes practice, and somebody asked the question to shortstop Jake Ogden, kind of detail us, what do you know about Wes Mendez? And he said, who's that? Like acting like he didn't know who Florida State's ace was. And let me tell you who Wes Mendez is. I mean, he's 9-3 on the year with a 2.42 ERA in 78 innings. He's got 103 strikeouts, 23 walks, a 190 batting average against. Rob Evans has been really good for Miami too. He's 9-3 on the year with 81 strikeouts and 68.2 innings, 25 walks, a 200 batting average against. And if you look specifically, at their offenses here, respectively, they're relatively, I would say, even. Florida State sitting at a 102 WRC plus, and Miami at 114. Florida State, I do think, has found their footing after losing Miles Bailey. Specifically, look at a guy like um, D. Brody D. Lamelier. Good luck to anybody who can actually pronounce that, by the way. But Brody D. Lamelier is hitting like 300 in the month of May so far, and has risen in the importance of Seminoles bats and hitters in that lineup, and has given them a little bit more confidence at the plate as a team. I do think that you can circle their series against Pitt as they kind of used Pitt's poor pitching staff to you know improve at the plate, I guess, and kind of gain a little bit of confidence there. This price, I do think, is a little rich for my blood. I would expect Mendez to shove with the bulletin board material there, but Miami has been good early in series this year. The one thing that nerves me is their lack of pitching depth, but with Rob Evans on the mound early in series, they've been able to win many of the games he's tossed. And the bullpen is the sketchy piece, but I do think that runs could be hard to come by. I would be targeting a Hurricanes and Seminoles under anything 9.5 or higher. I would look under that total for Thursday night. That game first pitch is 6 p.m. Eastern. Bill Russo checking in, saying Bieniek, and then Tanik Caesar saying they'll live. I'm assuming to me talking about JP, Colby Mack, all kind of having to adjust their schedules and then just flat out not being able to do anything because my dumbass and everything that was going on today with the college baseball schedule and recording shows. Before we get back to the rundown of some of the best games of Thursday and the series of the weekend, let me tell you guys about the Preakness, because that's happening this week, this Saturday. Make sure to check out the Preakness preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Claim your free $25 Preakness bet and a $200 deposit match for new members at nairabets.com/SGPN25. That's a $25 Preakness bet plus a $200 deposit match at nairabets.com/SGPN25. And the college baseball experience is also brought to you by Bracco Sports Book and Casino. There are a ton of great ways to get in on the action as they have you covered for all of the major sports, offering over 100,000 sports markets a month. Bracco is available in a ton of states. Wednesdays are for blackjack, and play blackjack on Wednesdays and get 50% of your losses back. Depositing and withdrawing is easy. Very easy to get money in, money out. It's lightning fast. Bank, you can wire it to your bank. You can get it through Apple Pay and even crypto. On Thursday, May 14th, so that's today when you're listening to this, there is an MLB play and get, is what they're calling it, MLB play and get. Play 25 or more dollars on MLB and get $10 in bonus picks. On Friday, May 15th, you can get an NBA play and get. Play $25 or more on NBA and get $15 in bonus picks. And on Saturday, they're calling it Casino Fight Night. Play 25 or more bucks on UFC and get 50 free spins after night falls 2, which is the casino game there on Bracco. Get a free $5 and purchase match up to $100 at Bracco using the promo code SGPN. That is Bracco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. And we are also brought to you by Kalshi, as they are a real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use the promo code SGPN. That is Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. Tannic Caesar asking, do we know Abraham's status for Florida State? To my knowledge, he is not healthy. It sounded like a back injury last week. I could be wrong there, but that's what I saw on the old Twitter machine. Again, it is wrong often, but that's what I believe it to be. So I'm not expecting him back this weekend. Yes, it's a rivalry series, but the postseason, the NCAA tournament is much more important than this week and next week, especially because Florida State's got their spot locked up in the big dance. Right now, they're just competing for a host. I think they should feel comfortable to host. I don't recommend them dropping all 3 games in this series or not doing any damage in the ACC tournament, but I would say as of now, they are one of the teams that I think should be a host when it's all set and done. And Blue Green Street says he believes that Abram is out this weekend as well for the Seminoles, one of their most trusted bullpen pieces there, which is a hit to the Noles, no doubt. And a reason why I do think that, the Friday game is very, very important for both teams to win, obviously. And I said Friday game, Thursday game, because it's game 1 of the series. Most of the time, game 1 is super important to win. The teams that win game 1 win about 72% of the series in college baseball. I'm ballparking that, but I know I've heard that before. But yeah, I would say like Miami, it is so important for them to win early and often in series. And Florida State with their 3 stud starting pitchers, I do think it's less important. But the bullpen last year was a big issue, and if they start piling up some injuries, I don't think they want to test that either. Let's head down to one of the more evenly priced matchups that we're going to talk about here. I actually think so. On the rundown of the 13 games that we're going to talk about today, there are just 2 teams of the 13 games that are road dogs. Almost all of the teams that we're going to talk about are minus money on the road. Miami was a road dog, and then there's another road dog coming up here in a game or 2 that we're going to talk about. But I do think that Thursday has potential for some chaos that it could be unforeseen. And let's talk about one of the games that could feature that as Virginia heads to Louisville. So the Cavs are minus 130 in this matchup. They are without their shortstop, Eric Becker. To my knowledge, he's missed like 3 or 4 straight series, something like 18 games. Now, do I expect him to come back? No, but they are talking about like he's kind of getting loose, getting ready to come back. He should be back either if it's not this weekend, next week. But I'm thinking that they're just going to dip his toe into the water, make sure that he's ready for the NCAA tournament because you don't really want him coming back cold in those, type of game reps. So he will play. To what kind of matter or impact, I don't know, and I don't even know if he's going to play this Thursday game. Who will play is Tate Davis, who's broke the ACC single season home run record previously held by JD Drew and Brock Wilkin. Tate Davis, a sophomore, has been in national news headlines in college baseball because his coach Dan McDonnell went on a radio interview and basically said, yeah, you should look at Tate Davis's phone. He's getting plenty of DMs from other teams saying they'll pay him this much and this much to come play for them in 2027. I do hope for Louisville's sake that Tate Davis is wearing that Cardinal logo next year or that script L, but there is no, telling what a college kid will do. But I do think that I have confidence in Tate Davis making a little bit of money when he signs with an MLB team after the 2027 MLB draft, given that he's already hit like 34 or 35 home runs this season. So That is the storyline in this one, as Louisville, if the season were to end right now, they are not an at-large NCAA tournament team. They're going to have to win the ACC tournament. How much are they going to press in this series to win games? That is a serious question, as some teams at this point of the year will try to stack the deck in the ACC tournament to make sure that they can make a little bit of a run and win some games and try to get themselves into that ACC tournament championship, and ultimately, in Louisville's case, win it, because I don't even think that just getting there is going to be good enough. We do not have confirmed arms for this game. Um, Actually, you know what? This was on Virginia's site. I do think that we have these two arms confirmed. Lefty Henry Zetkowski for Virginia, and then Ethan Eberle, the southpaw, for Louisville. And I'm just now remembering. I don't think that these were projected by one of these teams' game notes. This is my doing, and I pulled it off of who started last weekend in game one of their series. Louisville, their guy that had stacked consecutive Friday or game one starts was Wyatt Danilovich, and he went down with an injury 2 weeks ago. Last week, Ethan Eberle started game one of the series. That's why I've projected him here. Now I'm good. I know where I'm at. And Eberle, he's a soft toss and lefty that's kind of been batting practice in the ACC this year. And in total on the season, he's got a 308 batting average against ACC competition. He does have a 332 batting average against and a 738 ERA. It's just not been a good year for Eberle whatsoever. Henry Zetkowski had a rough February. Since then, he's been great, man. 68.1 innings. He's had 82 strikeouts, 82 strikeouts, 20 walks, a 448 ERA, 6-1 record with a 222 batting average. Against, Louisville can rake. There's no doubt about that. 121 WRC plus, with Virginia sitting down there at 111. Louisville's batting average is second best in the conference at 308 with a 936 OPS as a team. Obviously, Tate Davis is going to help. He's got like 34, 35 of their 85 team home runs. But that's just been the big weakness of Virginia, is hitting for average. They're 14th out of 16 in the ACC, sitting down there at 276. And I do wonder if, yes, everybody's been able to take advantage of Louisville's rough pitching, but to what extent? Like, we saw Louisville win some high scoring games last week against Miami, and that was a team with rougher pitching in the weekend, like I mentioned. But like, if you can't stack outs against the Cards, they'll beat you. And this year, Louisville at home at Patterson Stadium. Let me pull this up. They are astounding. Gosh, I can't type. Okay. Louisville this season at home is 22-9, but get this, their road record's 5-14. They have played with unbelievable confidence at home, and I say that knowing that they lost 2 games to Michigan State at home opening weekend. So scratch the opening weekend, man. They're 21-7 at home this season. And it's just, I think they're live. I think they're live at home, and plus 100. It's not the juiciest price in the world, but Virginia being a little banged up as they are in the position player group. AJ Gracia, still don't know if he's 100%. He is playing, but Eric Becker has been out for quite some time. I think Louisville's the pick to win the game. Is it going to be the most confident pick that I have in this podcast? No, but I do think that's where I want to point everybody for that matchup. The mid-major rundown pod saying Tate Davis, Bellarmine. Boy, that would be a great fit, as Bellarmine gave Louisville all they could handle, and being the inner city little brother there. he wouldn't have to leave home where he currently calls home. Patrick Fisher saying this is going to be absolute chaos in the Big 12 this weekend. The top 4 teams are in contention for the regular season conference championship, and the top 6 seeds could all change depending on the results. You are right to an extent. I'll show off the 11.7 website here. I do believe so. I think it's really just a 2-team race at this point to win the regular season. But we're gonna pull it up. I was just looking at it on the 11.7 pod, but let's do this. Let's share screen and show off the website. Here we go. So what you're looking at is 11.7.com. You go to the college baseball tab, go down to conferences, and then you can see every conference here that we've got. And it's freaking out because I'm actually clicking the college baseball tab instead of just letting the drop down menu come to me. All right, Big 12. And here are our standings. So Kansas and West Virginia is 1 game back of Kansas, but they're virtually tied. Gosh, what is this setup? Here. There we go. And then we'll do this. Sorry. Wasn't aware that it was that bad for the viewers on YouTube. But this is all on the 11.7 website. It's really cool. Dimitri's done a ton of work here. But Kansas being swept by West Virginia at home. Obviously, they don't have the tiebreaker. So if West Virginia were to win 1 game and Kansas were to lose 1, and they would have the same conference record at 20-8. West Virginia has the tiebreaker. They're the regular season champ if the records hold throughout the weekend. Arizona State, UCF being 3 games back, they need chaos. Yes, they're still alive, but I would say this thing is a 2-horse race between Kansas and West Virginia. Kansas at BYU this weekend, West Virginia hosting TCU, and we will talk about that game in a second. You can click on tournament bracket, and this will bring up the hypothetical Big 12 bracket, which is just an absolute mess this year. New bracket format, new host site. They're playing this in Sunrise, Arizona. Yeah, you see there's a couple of playing rounds, I should say. There's 1 playing round, another playing round, and then there's a single elimination round of 8 teams. And then we get the championship of their tournament on Saturday night. Yeah, pretty cool tool. Go over there, 11.7.com, mess around with it. This is the college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Noah Bieniek. You can follow me at NoahB77_. We're giving out some best bets for some of the biggest and best games of Thursday in the series. I don't think I've included series every time I've done just the show plug, but I think Creighton wins the series over Xavier. I think Florida State wins the series over Miami. I don't know if I could pick Louisville to win the series. I do think at plus money price, they're the team that I'm willing to give out for individual games. I think Louisville wins that series. I think they will take that series at home. My confidence in it is not super high. Blue Green Street saying ACC availability report has Abram listed as out. Good to know. Patrick Fisher saying, by the way, as a UCF fan, fuck Florida State. They play so well at home. Yes, they have. And getting a regional host would be huge. And I would not be super bold with the prediction of UCF maybe having to play at Florida State in a regional. They've done so many times. Mid-major pod, rundown pod saying, thanks, man. Got some sweet player interviews and Field of 64 / conference tournament stuff up recently. Good stuff, dude. Yeah, just keep doing it. There are not enough people in media or YouTube, whatever social media platform, talking college baseball. There really isn't. There's a massive avenue for anybody that's willing to put the time and work in. And I'm rooting for you. Thanks for tuning in to us, and I look forward to doing the same for you, my friend. Blue Green Street saying Tig Davis is special. Saw him last weekend in Coral Gables, and he hit 3 home runs in one game. Right? He hit like 5 in the weekend, but the one extra inning game, he basically, I know they scored like 11 runs, but I mean, he made such a massive impact in that. And probably won this series by himself. Tanik Caesar asks if West Virginia plus 180 to win the Big 12 is a good bet. We are going to get to the West Virginia TCU game in 1 second, but it's interesting. I would say that West Virginia probably needs to take 2 of 3 at minimum, maybe all 3. Because Kansas, I think they should be able to beat BYU in a bounce back weekend. In a series, can they sweep? I don't know. Yeah, West Virginia would have to win 3 to keep the same record as Kansas if Kansas wins 2. I think you may have better odds rolling over the money line. The mental math in my head is tough on that. Let's revisit that in a little bit. The next game that we're going to talk about, we're not going to spend a ton of time here because do I feel bullish about the upset happening? No. Is it a fantastic storyline and series to watch this weekend? Hell yes. Georgia Tech is minus 298 at Boston College, who's plus 220 in this matchup. Now, BC had their exam. Here goes the voice. BC had their exam week last weekend. This can't happen. Gosh, we're struggling. Only halfway through the show. BC had their exam weekend last weekend. They played a 2-game set against NJIT and lost the first game. Now, the Eagles did not play their entire position player group. I don't even know if they really attacked that first game on the mound like they typically would in an ACC series. They lost to a terrible, terrible team that, caused their RPI to drop like a rock in water. I do think that you get a refocused Eagles bunch, and this price is indicating that they're either not healthy or they're judging the team that they put on the field last weekend to be the team that is going to be put on the field this weekend against the Yellow Jackets. I'm somewhat bullish in thinking that BC's, not as banged up as they were portraying last weekend. It was NJIT. If some of your guys need to get off their feet, if you need to toss a couple of arms to get some innings or let a couple of guys get some rest from throwing, you can do so. You're only playing 2 games in that weekend. So I do think that this is a little bit of an overreaction price on a Boston College team that's won 17 games in the ACC this year. And this is not an easy team to prep for. They run like hell on the base paths. Von Lackey is one of the best catchers in the country, but he does have a tendency on some of the throws to be a little errant. He loves the back pick at first base, and that is a good way to manage BC's running game. But if you're relying on a back pick rather than the pitchers managing the run game as well, whether it be pickoffs or being quick to the plate, sometimes the back pick doesn't happen soon enough before the guy on first is at second or the guy at second is at third, because BC will take advantage of anything that they see. Chestnut Hill, also graduation weekend. They're going to have probably the biggest crowds that they've had all year, given that there's already so many people at the campus. There has been a little bit of a buzz building with one of the better teams they've ever had in program history. And Georgia Tech was kind of the circle it team in the preseason. Like, hey, we're going to host this series. This is going to be a big one. Let's rally everybody around campus and let's get some people to the park. I do think that plus 220 is an actionable price on BC. It is really ugly to jump in though. With this team and the current form that they showed last weekend and what they currently portray to be, not a fully healthy bunch, but I do believe that they are going to put their best foot forward, and anybody that is able to play will play. I do think that's going to be the team that they elect to trot out. Tate McKee is going to start for Georgia Tech, and AJ Colarusso is starting for Boston College. Colaruso's been unreal his entire BC career, but the last two seasons in specific, he's been so consistent for this BC team, and they're finally good, and it's paying off. He spent 4 years there. He's thrown almost 230 career innings this season to a 368 ERA in 66 innings. And then Tate McKee, on the other hand, he's been very steady for Georgia Tech. There are some questions on whether or not Georgia Tech has good enough frontline pitching, and I do think those questions fall on Tate McKee. His record's phenomenal. It's 7-1, but he also has a tremendous offense to back him up. His ERA is 4.57. Opponents are hitting 253 against him on the year, 70 strikeouts, 31 walks in 61 innings. I do think that Georgia Tech could be somewhat vulnerable, not only in this game, but in this series. I think BC takes one. Which one? I'm not super confident in particularly pointing it out, but I will say that Colaroso is a baller, and I think he's going to give him his best shot, and BC and set up BC in a spot to win this Thursday night game. I'm going to say BC plus 220. Sprinkle a little bit. That's my first bet of the podcast. Mainly just price alone. I do think that it's just slightly disrespectful and more of an overreaction of the BC team that we saw last weekend against NJIT, and it's just not the team that we've seen for 8 weeks in ACC play. It's just not, or I should say 9 weeks. All right, let's talk about that Big 12 matchup, the big one. TCU heads to Morgantown. Mac will be on site covering this game for the college experience. He did text me saying that he's got media passes. The town's riled up. They're so excited for West Virginia with the possibility of winning the Big 12 regular season and hosting the preseason favorite in TCU this weekend. The Horned Frogs are plus 130, West Virginia minus 166, and Tommy Lepore is getting his feet under him. This is his second start since coming back from the arm, whatever you want to call it, tightness injury. Let's just call it injury. That caused him to miss probably 10 weeks of the season. He pitched opening weekend and then didn't come back to like weekend 11. But with every weekend that he is back, I do expect him to throw more pitches, be a little bit sharper, especially velocity wise with the fastball. And yeah, I do think that this will be quite the interesting matchup because West Virginia has elected not to throw Max Yale, who's off arm injury. I think it was Tommy John, and he missed all of last year. So they're just keeping him on the strict, Friday schedule. They are throwing Ian Korn, who's also a D2 transfer, left-handed pitcher who's been really good for him in a multiple, facets, multiple different roles for this group this season. Ian Korn on the year for West Virginia. It has a 4-0 record, 296 ERA. He's made 16 appearances. Last week was it last week? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago in replacement of Yale. Yale was skipped a start. But yeah, he's made one start this year. But in the 48.2 innings that he's thrown, he's been great. 44 strikeouts, just 8 walks, 229 batting average against. Am I expecting him to, give us 5 shutout? No, not really. I do think that this is really going to be like a one-time through the order type of thing, or max 2 times. I'm really kind of going to ballpark him around 4 innings, 1 earned run. And much the similar Tommy Laporte. I really do think that he's going to get one time through the lineup. Um, you know, probably 2 or 3 innings, shutout, or maybe 1 run against. He has allowed 7 earned runs in 10 innings this season. So I would say one run there, and then we get a bullpen game for 5 or 6 innings, and this is where, if things have been shaky for West Virginia, it has been in the pen specifically, like if they get dragged into the mud. That's my number one fear for them in a regional. But in a weekend series, that doesn't get brought out as much unless you start behind the 8 ball, like they could if Corn does not give them length in game 1. But this offense is really underrated, and it all starts with Gavin Kelly, the catcher, second baseman hybrid. He's such an important cog to the machine that is the Mountaineers, as they have the third best batting average in the conference, and they kind of manufacture runs in a multitude of ways. They don't rely strictly on slugging, but they can hit the ball out of the ballpark. But it really is just the league's best pitching at the top, without a doubt, on that staff. They've got a handful of arms that are stout, and I do think I trust them on the mound and at home. Crowd's going to be into it. Give me West Virginia to win the game, win the series. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring Thursday game. And then we've got Lance Davis and the other kid that's been very good for him. I think it's Zach James for TCU to finish out the weekend rotation in the series. Those games I would expect to be a little bit more lower scoring, but I do think that, this Thursday night game between West Virginia and TCU is going to be surprisingly higher scoring. Let's jump into the chat real quick. So Tannic Caesar with the plus 180 West Virginia. I do think that, like, if you roll over a minus 166 money line rollover calculator real quick. So if we were to go, this is great podcasting as I search up just a stupid parlay calculator. There we go. Okay. So minus 166, minus 166, and then they probably will come out around that ballpark of a price for all 3 games. The rollover price is plus 311. Am I expecting them to sweep the series against TCU? No, but they almost need to sweep in order to win the Big 12. I think just bet them game by game. I think that's my answer there. I don't know if I did that correctly pulling up a parlay calculator, but I do think that rolling it over, take your winnings from game 1 bet into the game 2 bet into the game 3 bet, is probably the better way of doing that. Dundee will have a football show on Thursday, I do believe. Jay North saying, does that mean I should consider UNC for a hedge? No, I don't believe UNC is really actionable because they're 2 games behind Georgia Tech. It's a little bit of a different story than Kansas, West Virginia. 2 games behind, but North Carolina does have the tiebreaker in hand. North Carolina doesn't have an easy series in their own right. I mean, they're going to a rival in NC State who desperately needs the games just to try to stay on the right side of the bubble here. Yeah, North Carolina 2 games behind. North Carolina needs to sweep while Georgia Tech loses the series. West Virginia can win 2 if Kansas wins 1, but am I counting on Kansas losing a second straight series to BYU, who has had a better year than expected, but I would still think that the Jayhawks win that series. So that's why I'm saying West Virginia needs to sweep, but they really mathematically don't have to. North Carolina would have to, and Georgia Tech would have to lose that series. So that is my stance there on the ACC future, and possibly hedging, or do I hedge? Do I not hedge? All right, let's jump into the SEC real quick. Two teams that are also overlooked, kind of like West Virginia, and are firmly in the hosting race for a regional to play baseball in the postseason at home, are Ole Miss and Alabama. The Rebs are minus 130, the Crimson Tide plus 105. This one did open at minus 115 apiece. I don't know if I necessarily totally agree with the line movement that we've seen so far on this game. Hunter Elliott in conference play. This guy's a legend at Ole Miss. I'm not, trying to poke holes in legacy whatsoever. But this season, I do think that, he has been hittable. He's got a 5.12 ERA on the season, 252 batting average against, but in the SEC, it is a 274 batting average against, 576 ERA. For qualified pitchers, he's up there in runs allowed this season. He does, however, have 88 strikeouts in 65 innings. Tyler Fay, on the other hand, expected to start for Alabama, and that was the announcement anyway. Alabama will start Fay. He's 8-3 on the year with a 4.48 ERA in 78.1 innings. He's got 88 strikeouts, 19 walks, 221 batting average against. In conference, he's been fine. Kind of ERA right around the same, but at home, specifically at Thomas Sewell, his ERA is on a run less at home than it is on the season, and he's almost unhittable. I mean, he threw the no-hitter at home against Florida. His batting average against is just 171. He's something about the mound at Thomas Sewell, right? And so I do think I'm taking that into account for Alabama. I do think that their offense has been a little bit more consistent overall throughout the season than Ole Miss. Ole Miss can really pack a punch, but they also can rack up the strikeouts offensively, given if the other team's pitching is somewhat competitive. But yeah, I do think that Alabama, if there was one, kind of hole to poke with Alabama, it is the offense. But again, this team just plays better at home. Look at Tyler Fay's stats, look at the offensive stats. The pitching staff in general, one of the better pitching staffs with a 4.16 ERA, top 5 in the SEC. Alabama at home. I'm curious because I don't know the number off the top of my head. Their schedule is 21. They're 21-5 at Thomas Sewell Stadium this year. I do think that I disagree with the line movement. I don't understand it. Alabama is my pick there, and I feel relatively confident. It's not one of the bets that I had coming into this show that I was ready to share, but that is one that does have me quite interested, and I'm supposed to write down the Boston College pick for the end of the show in the recap portion, and that's what I'm doing right now. Before we get back to the rundown of games, I do want to let everybody know that the college baseball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and Underdog has you covered for Pick'em for almost every sport. Underdog has just increased their payouts. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5 times your entry fee. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. You can play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. That is promo code TCESGPN. When you play 5, you can get $50 in bonus funds. And we are also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your official data tool for dominating the NBA playoffs, MLB, WNBA, and golf. Let Rhythm's models help you cash in or build your own model to dominate the books. Get your 7-day free trial today to tail their models or build your own. WNBA's smart signal player props last year went 21-2. Actually, that was this opening weekend. Okay. Really good. 21-2 on the Smart Signal player props. Are you looking to go premium? Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm app and use promo code SGPN25. That is Rhythm, spelled RITHMM. Let it ride. And we are back here on the college baseball experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, running through some of the biggest games on Thursday, giving out some best bets, some picks, some analysis, and who I think is going to win each of the series. Last we left off was West Virginia. I thought they were going to win the series against TCU, and I do think that Alabama has a really good chance of holding in that one in the SEC. I do think that both of those teams, relatively overlooked, have played tougher schedules in conference than some other teams that have gotten a little bit more credit or get a little bit more media attention. So I do respect the Rebs and Crimson Tide quite a bit this year, and I do think they're undervalued. Let's talk about another team that's kind of undervalued, and that's Coastal Carolina. They are minus 154 on the road at Louisiana, plus 120. The reason why I say they're undervalued is because they had a national pitcher of the year in Cam Flukie, who hasn't recorded a win yet this year. He's pitched in 4 games, and it was like Fairfield, and then like 3 games the last 3 weekends, and they've lost all 3 of the games he's pitched. They lost a All-American closer for the year. They were without an All-American reliever for 25% of the season, and they were without an All-American starting pitcher in Hayden Johnson for the entire year. And then, not to mention, their best hitter, according to batting average and OPS, missed 28 games this year in Trace Mazon. So, Coastal Carolina, I do think they're under the radar. They're not playing as well the last, 2 or 3 weeks. They've dropped like game 3 in some of their Sun Belt series, but I do think heading into the NCAA tournament, this is just a scrappy bunch that knows how to win. Their believability, their confidence is high under Kevin Schnall. They're facing Cody Brash of Coastal Carolina in game 1, and Coastal will counter with Luke Jones. Luke Jones has been huge for Coastal this season. Last year, he was their midweek starter. He was great in 10 starts. Had a 351 ERA. This year kind of moved. He was expected to be the Sunday guy, turned into the Friday night guy, and he's just been super steady for him. Like, you kind of just know what you're going to get. He's had a 450 ERA. Opponents at 240 against him. He's got 56 strikeouts in 67 innings with 27 walks. He's going to give you 5 to 6 innings with 3 runs against. That's just kind of the baseball that you get out of Jones. It's just whether or not Coastal's going to put up runs that day. It will determine whether they win. Cody Brash has been great for Louisiana. Mainly a reliever to begin the year, but he's made 5 starts. This will be his 6th in 58.1 innings. He's got 67 strikeouts, 18 walks. Opponents are only hitting 194 against him. And there's that voodoo magic down there at the Teague in Louisiana. Louisiana this year, their record at home is 22-8 at the Teague. I do think this is going to be a tough series for Coastal. I do think that Louisiana is going to take one. I mean, I'm not picking easy series, easy games for me to pick, guys. Like, I'm talking about the best games with the best storylines, because Coastal Carolina, they need to sweep this weekend in order to win and hold on to the Sun Belt regular season title and not choke it away to Southern Miss. Southern Miss is 1 game behind. Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina did not play against each other this year. Southern Miss's last series of the year, they're hosting Georgia Southern, who is clearly the worst team in the Sun Belt this year. I think the Eagles, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, sweep that series, and Coastal Carolina needs to hold serve to keep that 1-game advantage in the standings. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this conference standings wise ends in a tie, and it will come down to tiebreaker. Who's the number 1 seed in the Sun Belt tournament? Louisiana is going to win the Thursday or Friday game. They'll win game 1 or game 2. Plus 120 though is not a price that I'm willing to do it at. Because I do think that Coastal Carolina is a little undervalued. I would set Louisiana around like plus 150 personally. Coastal Carolina more like a minus 180 favorite. But yeah, that's my feeling there. If you like the Raging Cajuns there, go for it. I really do think they steal a game this weekend from Coastal. 7 Eastern, first pitch. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. We've got 2 lefties on the mound. Tomas Valencius for Mississippi State. He prefers his last name be pronounced Valenkis. And then Texas A&M with the left-hander Ethan Darden expected to start. They have TBA Friday and Saturday. Kind of in trouble on the mound. A lack of confidence, I would say, in some of their options, their best options to start games. You kind of made the bed, or you kind of have to sleep in the bed that you made there. That's been my worry of A&M all season long. Bullpen wise, they've been able to do just enough to get by. They're still a really good team in the SEC. They're winning games, but I attribute that more to they've had very good offense all year long. But this time of year, they're kind of nicked up. Another team that's dealing with injuries late in the season. You look at last weekend, Gavin Grahovic was the only healthy infielder, playing. So playing defense, I should say, because Chris Hakopian was DHing, but typically their second baseman. And then Boston Kellner, their shortstop, got hit in the face with the ball. He was not playing last weekend. And Nico Partita has been ailing with an injury the last couple of weeks. So they're struggling health-wise in the lineup, and they're struggling consistency-wise, confidence-wise on the mound. I do think this is a great opportunity for Mississippi State on Thursday night to go in there, get in the W. They're a minus 110 price. I do think with Tomas Valencius, one of the best arms in the SEC, that's just not big enough. I do think that this will close a little bit higher. I like Valencius here. He enters this game with a 2.52 ERA, 8-2 record, 105 strikeouts, just 16 walks in 75 innings, with a 209 batting average against. I like Hail State. I think their offense hits just enough to win many games. They're got a top 3 offense according to a couple of different offensive stats in the SEC, and they're also a top 3 pitching staff according to Team ERA at 4.02 in the conference. I do think this is one of your more balanced teams, not only in the SEC but in the country, and I do think that's a massive formula for victory to go in on the road and take 1, if not 2, at Olsen Field here, Bluebell Park. I'm going to take Mississippi State not only to win the series, but I'm going to bet them in game 1 at minus 110. One of my favorite picks of the day there. Favorite bets of the day. Mississippi State. And we're going to move on to the next game on our rundown is Purdue at Iowa. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but Iowa is in a 3-way tie for 10th place in the Big Ten, a.k.a. 12th place, which only 12 teams get into the Big Ten tournament. They are 1 game above the Mendoza, a.k.a. cut line for the conference tournament. They're hosting this game in Iowa City. This is their annual kind of like neutral field, play this in the city around our alumni game and series. We saw this last year. I believe it was Oregon that they hosted games at this park. And this year it's Purdue. Purdue on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. They're favored to win this game at minus 140. Iowa plus 110. Iowa does have the better arms statistically on the mound, and Maddox Freeze, hell of a name, by the way. You're going with the first name being from, I'm assuming, Greg Maddox, because it's the exact same spelling. This is a baseball family, and then you got the David Freeze last name. I mean, like, this guy was born to just shove on the diamond. And then for Purdue, it is Cole Van Assen. Hilarious last name. He's not ass on the mound, but he's all right. He's got a 5.17 ERA on the year. The one thing he'll do is he's going to make you beat him. He does not walk guys. His batting average against, though, is 294, but he's been a steady arm on Friday for these Boilermakers who are kind of scratching and clawing, doing everything they can to get into the NCAA tournament. And Maddox Freeze, does not bring like the strikeout stuff. He's only got 37 strikeouts and 62.2, but he is, kind of a funky arm angle, funky action, not very easy to square up. In his 62.2 innings, he's only got a 226 batting average against and a 316 ERA. So statistically, he's a little bit of an anomaly. If you look under the hood at some advanced analytics, it says that he should be getting hit a little bit harder than he is. But, he has done pretty well at surviving in the Power Conference as a junior, transfer into Iowa. And, I think I'm going to pick Purdue. Their offense has been unbelievable this year. They've got multiple guys that are probably competing for, conference first team, second team, and whatever. They've had really good performance up and down that lineup. As a team, they're hitting 305, 900 OPS. They run like heck on the base paths, but also this year they've added a little bit more pop. And that's why I do believe that they are having one of the better years under Greg Goff in West Lafayette. So give me Purdue to win the game and go on the road and take the series. Let's talk Georgia Auburn. Minus 115 both ways on Thursday. As I take a drink of water there for the audio listeners. Joey Volchko is going to go for Georgia, and Jake Marciano will start for Auburn. Now, Georgia did dump the Gatorade, literally and figuratively, on Wes Johnson last weekend as Georgia won the regular season in the SEC. This has been a team that I've kind of not given a ton of respect to throughout the year. And even in the preseason, this was not a team that was necessarily on my radar that I considered as a true contender to win the SEC. I mean, shoot, their offense is loaded. I mean, they're raking against some of the best arms in the league. They've also had a favorable draw in schedule. They've played 3 games against LSU, 3 games against Missouri, 3 games against South Carolina, and they swept all 3. That's 9 of their conference wins. That's part of the reason why I believe that they've locked up the league with 3 games to go, an entire weekend to go. So to me, they're a little bit of an enigma. I think they're a little overvalued. Is this the weekend to really take advantage of it? Maybe. I do think it's more of a weekend in the NCAA tournament, specifically like a regional or the first weekend in the College World Series, where they'll have to play multiple games within 2 or 3 days. This team in the SEC, 11th out of 16 in team ERA, specifically, not one of the best strike throwing teams when it comes to accuracy. When it comes to strikeouts, they're up there. This is a power pitching staff, but specifically, accuracy wise, strike throwing and, not walking hitters, it is a worry of mine. Throw that all out the door with Joey Volchko, though. I do think that this is a premier arm that lives too much in the zone. All throughout his career, he's just been hit. He came in to college as a high draft prospect, and the talent's there. He's got some good stuff. I think he just lives in the zone too much. And in his career, he's got a 263 batting average against. This season in the SEC, he's got a 248 batting average against. He's only striking out 81 and 65.1. Again, that's good. That's a good K per 9, but is it like a shutdown Friday night arm that's guaranteed to win you a game? No, not necessarily, but neither is really Jake Marciano in his current form. His last couple of starts, he's gotten knocked around, but he's been great for Auburn, and this has been the best pitching staff in the SEC. He's got a 271 ERA on the year, 69.2 innings. He's got 91 strikeouts, 13 walks, and opponents are only hitting 210 against him. Auburn's really good at the Plains. They're really good at home. Georgia hasn't, played a ton of road games, but when they've I believe they're like 10-3, and they've picked up all those wins against quality competition. So there's no holes for me to poke there. This is really just a gut feel. And my gut feel is that I believe that Auburn's one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country. Their strength of schedule's up there with the best. Georgia's inherently, because they're playing the SEC, is really good. I do think that it's not as strong as it could be. And their pitching staff has me worried, even with it not facing the 98th percentile of competition like Auburn has, and they've dominated on the mound. I really do believe that, and I think their offense is good enough to win some games in the NCAA tournament, win some games this weekend. I like Auburn here. Is it one of my most confident picks? Am I betting it? No, but give me Auburn to win that game. Let's talk about the penultimate game of the day here, and it comes in the Mountain West as San Diego State is leading the league currently. They would be the 1 seed if the conference season ended today, and UNLV would be the 6th seed. The only issue with that is there's only 6 teams that get into the Mountain West tournament, and they're just 1 game up on San Jose State, who's sitting in the 7th spot. UNLV offensively has been really good this year. They're leading the league in home runs. They've got the best batting average in the league, best OPS. Their ballpark is a launching pad. San Diego State's offense has been kind of pedestrian this year, but their pitching staff has been miles better than anybody else in the Mountain West this year. Can they do it on the road, specifically in the dry air, Las Vegas, where the ball flies? I do think it's a real question mark this weekend for San Diego State, and UNLV at plus money, I do think is really interesting. That San Diego State's one of the minus money road favorites that I've kind of targeted as there's a good chance that they fall this weekend. I do love Rowan Leto. There is not a starter announced for San Diego State. Next weekend matters way more to San Diego State than right now this weekend. So if they're trying to rest some arms and make sure they're good to go for that conference tournament where Mountain West is not guaranteed a large bid whatsoever, they need to win the conference tournament. I do, consider that as well. And UNLV, I do think it's a good pick at plus money. Leto's been great for San Diego State. And then UNLV, their typical game 1 guy this year has been Parker Dilloff. And this season, his last couple of starts, he's been really, really good. On the season, though, he hasn't been tremendous. It's a 6.92 ERA in 65 innings, but he misses bats. He's got 89 strikeouts in those 65 innings. His last 2 starts, I think, have been his best 2-start stretch in the entire season. So I do think recent form, maybe we can value him a little bit more. Rowan Leto on the year is 5-1 for the Aztecs with a 480 or 3.65 ERA in 69 innings. He's got 88 strikeouts, 23 walks. He's been one of the best pitchers in conference. And if he throws, plus 105 price is probably correct on UNLV, given all the factors that I've listed. If he doesn't throw, I think we're getting great value on the UNLV pick. And that's where I'll leave you guys. The last game of the day is my favorite bet. USC's minus 145 on the road at Oregon plus 114. This game opened at Trojans minus 125, Ducks minus 105. And the reason why USC is the favorite on the road here in this game is Mason Edwards. He is the hands down, Big Ten pitcher of the year I would even call him National Pitcher of the Year, should be the massive front runner in that aspect. He's been phenomenal for the Trojans to begin the series. Uh, Oregon, prior to playing UCLA last weekend, were undefeated on Fridays this season. They'll have to slay another beast in order to continue their run in game ones this year. Mason Edwards is 8-0 for USC this season with a 161 ERA. He's got 142 strikeouts in 78.1 innings. It's just otherworldly, and opponents can't touch him. He's giving up just a 142 batting average against. Will Sanford, who's been good for Oregon, he did get touched up against UCLA, no doubt. Gave up 5 early runs to those Bruins, but they're the best team in the country. Their offense is so much better than USC's. I do think that we get a bounce back outing from Sanford at home at PK Park, where the Ducks are 21-4 this year, and USC is just 9-11 or 8-10. I don't remember that off the top of my head. But to me, this is an Oregon slam spot. I love them at plus money here with Will Sanford on the mound, who's 6-2 on the year, 4.19 ERA, 89 strikeouts, and 62.1 innings with 35 walks. And opponents are just hitting 195 against him. He's a stellar arm. Oregon's offense is the better group when you compare the two, Oregon and USC. As a team, Ducks are hitting 289 with a 904 OPS on the year. They've got 88 homers. And USC just hitting 278, 866 OPS, and just 74 homers. I do think that the 21-4 record is going to play. Oregon does get a good crowd, whether it be locals or students at PK Park. They'll be ready to go. Wazikowski is a great coach. He'll have his team fired up. USC also this year against the best competition, specifically if you're looking at quad records in RPI. They are 0-8 against quad one. Against the top competition this year that they've faced, they have not shown up to play. They've gotten run ruled in about 4 or 5 of those 8 games. Give me Oregon. I do think that they showed a lot of fight in that UCLA series last weekend. They did take a game. Give me Oregon to not only win on Thursday, but win this series. This is my favorite bet of the day. And to wrap up the rundown there of the 13 best games in series to watch, to bet on, to keep an eye on during the final regular season week of the year. My 3 favorite bets: Oregon plus 114, Mississippi State minus 110, and for a big dog, Boston College plus 220. I want to thank you all. Tanix Caesar also mentioning that Jackson Flora will be considered in that. That's a really interesting, head to head for National Pitcher of the Year. I wonder how much the power conference and the strength of schedule for USC and UCSB will be, weighed upon each other, because UCSB's played a really good non-conference strength of schedule. The offenses in the Big West aren't terrifying. Neither are the offenses in the Big Ten, but Edwards' numbers are unreal. Flores are really good. At 11.7, we divvy it up between power conference and mid-major. So that's why it kind of flew over my head when I was staying it. But Edwards and Flores are a really tight race. I wouldn't be upset with any media entities or, college baseball coaches or USA Baseball or Rawlings in deciding one or the other. I do think that those two guys are the top 2 arms in the 2026 college baseball season. And that's going to wrap it up. The final regular season picks episode here on the College Baseball Experience. When we're back, we'll be here for conference tournament week. One of the best weeks in the college baseball season and the sports calendar, in my opinion, is the time of year where we see about 200 teams all playing their hearts out. And, I do think that I really enjoy, seeing a lot of those teams play for the last time in those iterations, because even more emphasized nowadays in sports and college sports, the transfer portal, you do not get the same team from one year to the next. UCLA is, uh, you know, they are the exception when it comes to that. So I do love kind of watching all the teams play their final games this week during the conference tournament week and also throughout the NCAA tournament. So Tanik Caesar also saying that ESPN Squeeze Play will be back here on Thursday night. Very, very entertaining, kind of just whip around, frantic, kind of red zone style college baseball coverage. The guys at ESPN do great stuff. Mike Rooney, Chris Burke, and Matt Schick. So tune into that if you only have cable. I believe it's ESPN2 this week. This has been the College Baseball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.